brought about one change in the managerial hot seat. Keith Rowland's taken over at Aveley in the Isthmian North following the surprise resignation of Danny Dufter last month. Keith's with us now on Wednesday Sport. We welcome him back to Essex football. And Keith, familiar place for you to be back at Aveley. How are you settling in there?
Hello, Glenn. How are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, fine, thanks very much. But as I say, you're back in familiar surroundings, albeit a different ground. How are you finding it back at Aveley this time around?
This time around is probably about 12 years on from where we were first there at the old ground. This time around is a fantastic setup and really looking forward to the challenge ahead of the season, yes.
Because we should say you're back at the club where you started your coaching career.
Yes, well, we started at Barking for a good 6 months and then moved over to Aveley, me and Rod Stringer, and together Rod was manager and I was assistant, and we took the club on a journey, a terrific journey of nearly 3 years of success. And yes, I went on to have a good 5 years at Braintree and then another close to 3 years at Wingate after that. So yeah, I've been in non-league football a long time now.
And you've rejoined Aveley, and obviously new surroundings, fantastic stadium. We've talked about quite a lot here on BBC Essex, and a club which has clear ambitions, doesn't it now? Yes.
I mean, I'm probably in the seat now for the last week and a half to 2 weeks now. So, yes, to have ambition for sure to be in the level above, be in the league above which I was in, and I understand that. But this league isn't easy to get out of. It's a tough league. There's probably a good 9 to 8 to 10 teams that will all want to go into the playoffs, if not want to go up.
What have you made of the squad that you've inherited there as well, Keith? As I say, it was slightly surprising that Danny decided to step down, having taken it on last year. What sort of squad have you inherited?
Oh, listen, every manager makes their own decision. I can never quote on another. I can never make odds for what another manager does. But at the end of the day, I took the squad over. I am looking at it, and I do believe I will want to make a few decisions and positions for sure. It's not an overall change or turnover in players, that's for sure. It's a good steady squad. I just feel it needs a little bit more in terms of certain positions and certain areas that will hopefully make them better. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's why the club have brought me in, to help them, and I want to help the club as much as I can to make them better and make the next step, whether it be this season or the season after.
As you mentioned there, you'd been at Wingate and Finchley previously. You had a really successful spell there. So what can you draw on that to take into the job at Aveley?
My experience, I was always an assistant manager up until I got the job at Wingate, and I needed to have a go at it myself to see if I could do it, to prove to myself and prove to other people that I could actually be a manager, because it's a totally different contrast between assistant manager and manager, you know. So in that sense, the experience I learned at Wingate was second to none. Learning how to deal with players away from the game itself, believe it or not, is a big thing these days. And really, the biggest thing I can bring to the group is probably the fact that it'll be more of an attitude of organising, working hard as a group, getting them in the positions, getting the team in the position that will hopefully win us a lot of games this season.
And it's Tilbury on Saturday for you, a derby, but virtually every other week there's a derby in this league, isn't there?
Yes. I've spent 5 years up and down the country in the conference with Braintree. Wingate, it was all around Kent, all around. So this time round, I'm local to the club myself, so I'm really looking forward to the challenge. I'm really looking forward to settling down into a good club, considering where it was 12 years ago when we went into it, and probably my attitude's changed, that I'm heading towards young in football and 50, and the first time round, it was more of a challenge to push myself on. Now I want to work really hard to push Aveley on as a football club, and I'm really looking forward to it. Really want to enjoy the challenge, you know.
So it sounds just finally, Keith, like you're looking to put down a few roots and really build something at Aveley and stick around for a fair while.
Yes, I mean, listen, in any type of non-league, in any type of management or coaching, 3 years is a good stint at a football club, and that was the first time round. It took 2.5 years to really put a really good team together at Aveley. So it doesn't come overnight. You know, the experience, again, I can only draw on the experience we had at me and Alan Devonshire had a Braintree. It took us 4 years to put a really good squad together, and the two Cowley brothers took over from us and just tweaked it, and they had a really successful one season at the club, you know. So it takes a while to get a really good group together and try and keep them at the club is a real key as well to work with you. I've always had that luck about me, where I've always had a group of players that stick with you for a while, you know, and that brings continuity and obviously a bit of togetherness and success with it.
Wish you well, Keith. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Not a problem. Thank you very much.
Keith Rowland, who's taken over at Aveley.